Hey friends, how are you today? Happy Wednesday. You know what that means. It is Rose Alchemy Live TV. Welcome. I'm Sarah Rose, your host, coming to you live from my office in Charleston, South Carolina. Of course, wearing my antler crown, as we were laughing about the past couple of weeks. How are you today? Let me know where in the world you are tuning in from. If you're watching this live, give me a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. If you're new to me, give me a hashtag newbie. Rose Alchemy TV is a program for high achieving female entrepreneurs who are looking to start or scale a business in the online space. And I have here amazing, meaningful, soul-led conversations with my business besties from around the world, bringing you as much value as we can when it comes to starting or scaling your business, whether that's strategy, mindset, spirituality. It's just a really exciting conversational program. So I'm so glad to have you all here. We're waiting today for my guest Katie to come on. She is in the UK. And Liz, you're here too, also in the UK. Yay, hello. I love having friends from all over the world. This is so brilliant. So welcome. And as soon as Katie, I can see that she's here, we will bring her on. And in the meantime, let me get to know you better. Give me in the comments if you are brand new to business, maybe you have an idea, maybe you're feeling this call to become an entrepreneur, you want to start a business, but you haven't really taken that next step. So give me a 1 if that sounds like you. If you have a side hustle, something you kind of recently started and it's just getting going, or you're working that alongside another career, looking to build that up, give me a 2. And if you already have a full-fledged online business that is thriving and you're looking maybe to take that to the next level, give me a 3. I just love to know, again, who's watching from around the world and where you are in your business. So Katie's here. Let's see if I can bring her on. Let's see, technology is on our side today. I can feel it. Liz is a 2, yes, okay. Katie, I'm trying to bring you on. Can you request to be a guest? Well done. I think we got her. Bear with us, technology. There she is. Success.
Hello.
How are you, my lovely?
I'm good. How are
wonderful.
you?
Thank you. It's so good to have you here. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, this is going to be so much fun. So before we dive into strategy and mindset and spirituality for all of our viewers from around the world, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, where you're from, what you do, and then we'll get going.
So I'm Katie Mamo-Lewis and I'm in the UK in Anglia. So a couple of hours out of London in the countryside. We're lucky we're by the coast and the countryside, so quite rural. I have my own what you would call real estate business. Here in the UK we call it estate agency, and I'm also a Reiki healer. So put quite a sort of spiritual, empathetic spin on our estate agency business.
Yes, and I love watching your live videos. You have some incredibly gorgeous properties, and I just am drooling every time I watch them. I'm like, that is my dream property. Oh, I can't get over there yet.
Yeah, I have some pretty quintessentially, because we're in the countryside, you know, we do get some really nice properties on. So
yeah, they're absolutely stunning. Well, I'd love to talk real estate in England and the English countryside all day, because I'll be your best customer at some point. That's my dream. But for now, let's talk to our viewers about building an online business and talk a little bit about our journeys. And how did you get started building in the online space from a more local service-based business?
So I think it's just because naturally we've been doing more and more online. Our main source of marketing, you know, back in the day, estate agents would advertise in the newspapers and they'd advertise in the window branch. So times are changing, times are already changing. And then since we had COVID, business, we'd already put different structures in place before COVID, So there's quite a lot of estate agencies that are now playing catch up with where we already were. So we have hubs. We've got a hub in Norfolk and a hub in Suffolk, where we have really beautiful spaces that our teams work from, and customers can come there if they want to, but it's not on the high street. One of our hubs is on a farm, on a working farm, and in an old barn that my husband Mike, he put some beautiful lighting in, and it was a cow shed before we were in there, and he's flooring and lighting in. So that's our Norfolk hub, and then our Suffolk hub in Halesworth is in the Cut, which was an old grain store that's now got a cafe. It's got a full working theatre. They do cinemas there, Pilates studio. It's got an artist in there, various different small studios, and we are really lucky to have the penthouse of that building. So we've got panoramic views around Halesworth. So it's beautiful when the sun sets. Yeah, it's really lovely. So we do still like localized clients, but we're finding that more and more we're getting called upon from people all over. We're taking a property on in Kent on Monday, and then it's just like with the different services as well, we can advise people from afar how they can maximise the profit of their property with the house clearances and the staging. So we do a lot of work for probate solicitors and people who have lost a loved one. And if we're too far away from them, we can advise them on what to do, but all via the internet. So this was all born really when we were in lockdown 1. We were blessed that we're in a position to furlough our staff, and Mike and I then went back to the roots of Attic, of running it just us two, back on the dining room table, and Mike was able to carry out clearances on his own. He's very strong, bless him, although he's got a very bad back at the minute, probably because of that.
That'll do.
Bless him. He just walked in actually. Do you want to say hello?
Hey, Mike.
Hi. And you can see a bad finger now as well from another clearance accident. Yeah.
Take it easy.
So we went back to the roots, back to the dining room table, and Mike doing the clearances on his own, and me doing most of the estate agency on my own. But what we were doing is we were getting instructions via, because I did a Facebook live every day, and this coincided when we first met around that time. Well, it was just before we met. It was when I was liaising with the coach that we were then signing up with. So I was then going more and more online anyway. And every day I showed up. It didn't matter if I was in my yoga kit, if I was doing stuff with the kids. I looked after my sister's children and my stepson a lot during lockdown. So sometimes I'd have a baby on the hip. I'd have the dogs. I'd have toddler. I'd have 12-year-old. But I would go online every day, rain or shine, makeup, no makeup, and just show up really authentically. And just I did some guided meditations for people. When I felt the energy was really heavy, I'd go on and do guided meditation and just chat to people about the legislation that was coming in, any announcement that Boris was making. I'd come on. And also we had to think outside the box quite a lot to get our customers moved. So anyway, not that we found a loophole, because that makes us sound sneaky, and it wasn't sneaky. It was just thinking outside the box and being really proactive on, this is what we're allowed to do. How does that impact house movers? What can we do to get them moving? So we had a few simultaneous completions. Our longest one was 5 people in a chain that we did simultaneous exchange completion. It was an emotional roller coaster for everybody in the chain, but I was there showing up for them, guiding them through it. So because we were going on every day and doing this live, people then really got to know the difference of us to a normal estate agent. And we were just getting leads and just inquiries, and it just snowballed. So our business has doubled from this time last year.
Fantastic. And I'm hearing a few common themes in here that I think anyone can relate to in business. If your service product and you're looking to take it online, it's kind of going back to the drawing board, starting from scratch, going back to the basics, thinking outside the box, and going, where can I show up differently? How can I show up differently than everybody else? How
Yeah.
can I be different and stand out and rise above the noise on social media? And it sounds like you found your...
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think it took me a while to do that as well, because it took me a while to become an estate agent, because I never felt that that was me. I've always worked in events, and I've always had a niggle inside. I've been doing Reiki healing now for nearly 20 years, and it's always been a passion of, I'm really intuitive, quite psychic. So it's always been a calling of mine to carry out that work for people. And I do, some clients, I do a little bit of coaching and intuitive led coaching and healing for people. I haven't necessarily done a lot of that recently, because we've just been so busy on the estate agency side. But it really feels to me now that this is my calling. I think I had the two things so separate for a while, because I felt that the fear of being judged, and the stereotypical estate agents, and most of the, not most because I'm now being stereotypical, but a large quantity of the people that work in our industry are not necessarily very spiritual. They're very much the suited and booted and target and sale, and it's driven by the finance. Here we go. It's the masculine energy, yes, not the feminine.
Yes.
And although I'm happy to show up in my masculine energy when I need to, is having that confidence to really stay feminine and bring in that whole new creative, and being brave enough that I know I'm not stupid. I know that there's agents that laugh at me and think, oh my God, she is as mad as a box of frogs.
Bring it.
But I don't care.
They're not paying your bills with their opinions, right? So you got to do you. And my clients and I talk about that a lot, about finding your purpose and finding your path back to yourself in alignment, because so many times we are afraid to show up as who we really are. We're afraid to own our weird. We think people are going to think that we're crazy and not want to do business with us. And it's almost this level of like FOMO, right? Like fear of missing out.
Yeah, so it's not just judgment of the other agents. It's the, do I put myself out there as who I am in true authenticity? Will people want to come and join our team? And now we have got a team that is totally in alignment with my beliefs. We, in the morning meetings, if people are off their vibe, we'll talk about it. We've got one of the girls who I work with does tarot. So if any of the, sometimes the vibe will dip and things will stress us out. It's a really stressful industry to be in. And also, I don't say to my girls, you've got to leave your private life at the door. If any of them are having something's not right with them, as an employer, if you think that your staff are gonna leave their problems at the door, then you're stupid. You're naive, because you can't just turn your energy off. So what I will do is I've got a sage stick in the office, and if it's getting a bit imploding energy, I'll sage the space. I'll sage the girls individually. I'll hop on and do some Reiki on them.
You know what? My best friend has 2 selenite wands. They're huge. And when you walk in her door, if your energy is off, she'll be like, all right, stand here. And I'm going to...
Why not?
Right? So, yes, I love this conversation and exactly where it's headed. And we were kind of going back and forth on this yesterday about how do we and why do we bring this spirituality into our business? I don't even call it the woo anymore, because it's so much deeper than that. It's like, that was me in the beginning when I was interested in exploring some of these different things. But it's a real thing. It's a connection to your higher self.
Yeah.
And I think it's all about the vibe and the energy and the synergy and alignment, not so much like crazy, crystal lady, although we do love our crystals and our tarots.
So talking of the synergy, me and my team are now so in alignment that we get all the number synchronicities. So 1111, 1212. I mean, I often wake up at 7:07, and then it goes on all day. And now we're all seeing it constantly. Even one of my girls who's on furlough, she's still at home sending us the messages, ping, 1111 or whatever.
What does that mean to you, though? Why is that important? The synchronicities. I always say pay attention to the synchronicities. What does that mean in numerology?
That as a team, we're in synchronicity and alignment. For me, that shows that individually and collectively, we're all in alignment, and actually we're grounded and paying attention to the bigger picture. We're not just focusing inward on whatever that may be.
Yes.
It shows we're all exactly where we're meant to be.
And at exactly the right time. And I believe that's true for all of us, no matter where you are in your journey. You know, it's so easy to beat up on yourself and come down on yourself. And I haven't made a sale this month, or I haven't closed a client in 2 months, or I haven't, you know, even gotten my first client, or, you know, this is taking much longer than I thought. You know, I think we all go through that on this journey. And it's so easy to be our own worst critic and be like, well, you suck and this isn't for you. And you might as well go get a traditional job and, you know, just forget about this dream that you ever had. And it's like voice inside, and we have to be able to tap into our emotional intelligence and know when that is happening, and turn that voice off and just say, you know what, go sod it, right?
Yeah, it is. And that was a big problem that I used to have. As soon as, if the phones weren't that busy, or I don't know, like last week it snowed so bad here in Norfolk and Suffolk. We had so much snow. Like in Suffolk, drifts were so high, and the old me would have been like, I would have been stressing like out. I would have been saying, we've not got any inquiries, and like stressing. And last week I was like, do you know what? This has come at the perfect time, because we've got 2 new staff have started. There's time for them to bed in and learn. You know, both of them luckily already use the same computer system as us, so we didn't have to train from scratch. It just gave us time to be bedding in together, and I felt that that was great. That was what was needed. That was perfect. So it's flipping it, isn't it, and saying, why is that happening? What, why? And as it is a positive, not have it as a scarcity negative, because then it just rolls. And this week we couldn't be busier.
Exactly. And so you just keep reinventing yourself and pivoting until you get it right, and just accepting that, you know, if there is a slow time, where can you grow in that? Where can you invest in a course or a mentor, learn some new skills?
Admin can you be doing? What growth can you be doing? And sometimes, you know, well, I was talking, Charlotte's, another one of our friends, has been speaking about her website design recently and procrastination. Like for me, I just want to be busy all the time, doing deals, on the road, taking the properties on, valuations. I hate admin. I can't tell you how much. But because it also fell in sync last week that we were quieter, and I had my last call with our coach, because that had to be delayed, as you know, and it fell into place that we came totally home. I had a really emotional call with her, and it came just at the right time, because I've been to-ing and fro-ing on all of the marketing we're doing, and yeah, it's all fallen into place, because now I've got Claudia on the team who's really helping with the marketing. We know exactly where we're going with the brand.
Awesome.
I had that, you know, and if I had had the call with Michelle this week, I would have been not as in the zone about it, because it would have been so busy. Like I'm back to back all week this week, but last week I wasn't. And we sat down, and she said, tell me about this and tell me about that. And I just started crying and said, this is exactly what it needs to be. We're back to the rainbows, back, the logo is staying the same, but we're bringing through a lot more colour. I do a lot of stuff with rainbow healing, and rainbows mean a lot to me personally and other people in my life, and now with all the COVID stuff. And it just felt so right.
Well, that clarity is so key. And once things start to fall into place, it's like you do, like, as I was just saying, you know, sometimes you just have to pivot and pivot and pivot and keep reinventing yourself. And sometimes it comes back to the beginning, and you had it all along.
Circle. And it's really weird, because that's gone full circle. The marketing, like the look and feel of it, has gone back to a company I had years ago when I did events. And Claudia used to work for me when we did the events. She's now working for me again. And another is now back helping Mike with the property staging. So it's really the energy. It's just really
off
weird.
The charts. I love it. Well, speaking of energy, and we could just talk all day. I just love this. Usually we talk for 20 minutes on this show, and we've already gone over that. But we could just keep going. I love it. Let's talk just a few more minutes, because I know everybody's got a busy day, and typically they've got 20 to 30 minutes to be with us. But let's talk about energy. And you mentioned earlier the masculine energy and the feminine energy. And so how is it possible to balance the two when it comes to business. And I know I've got my story that, you know, masculine, hustle, grind, slay, repeat, everything I preached against, total burnout, couldn't go. I had to take like a week off. It was misery. I was like, I just have nothing left to give. And now I can recognize that when it's coming. And even the other day, I was like feeling, I'm doing everything for everyone. I'm doing. What about me? But it's so incredible to know when it's time to switch off and take that step back and do something good for yourself so that you can come back as your best self and give your best self to the masculine energy of your business. So anyway, I just talked totally over you. So go ahead and give me your perspective on
it. It's something that I think a lot of business women struggle with, and it's certainly something that I've not got down. I'm still working on it, not just in business, in my whole life. Due to things that have happened through my life, I fall into my masculine really easily because I've always been a go-getter. Through stuff that's happened with my family and previous relationships, I've had to step up. So I do fall into my masculine as a natural default. Yes. To the point that I put a lot of that down to probably why I've not been blessed with children. That is definitely something I'm working on. I pray that I've got a couple of years left that maybe I'll be blessed.
Oh, hold on, it's cut out the audio. Hang on.
Just disappear.
Go ahead.
Sorry, all just came in. Where did we get up to?
You've got a couple of more years and you're working on.
Yeah, so I'd like to, you know, I really would love to be a mum. I'm a stepmom and I'm an auntie to the best children I could ever dream of.
Amazing.
But I would love to be a mum, and I'm really working on surrendering to the divine about that at the moment. I'm at a place where if it doesn't happen, I am okay with that now, but there is still a big part of me that would just love that. And I think it's taken back today as well. It's not letting it get to that point of knowing when you're at the burnout point. It's feeling of deserving of having the space, and that takes so much work, and it takes being with supportive people as well. So this weekend I'm taking Saturday off, and because I want to be with my stepson. We haven't seen him for 3 weeks with COVID and things, and I picked him up today. I'm really excited about having a weekend with him and Mike. And the phone rang today, and there's a lady would really have liked to see me on Saturday. And I started shuffling in the chair, and Kim could see me, and she was like, "Don't you dare, don't you dare." And she said to me, "I'm proud of you," because normally I would have been like,
it's just one. It's only one, right?
Just one. But that would have taken up the whole day because it was inside, driven down there, I would have gone, you know, and it would have then put the whole day off kilter. But I said, look, I can do all of these days, you know, the next week, but really I need this time with my family. I need that.
It's like becoming an addiction. I swear you have to really be cognizant of it, because being a workaholic is a thing, and it can really have repercussions on the family as well, you know. And so when I told my daughter, I'm going to be taking this afternoon off to spend with you, or my husband, you know, the weekend or whatever, it, you know, you see a phone call come through, you see a message come through, you're like, oh, I'll just take this one. I'll just take this. Yeah. I'll be right back. Let me take this one call. Like, it doesn't stop, right? So it's
make it stop. And if that customer really wants to work with you, then they'll wait a couple of days, and they'll respect that. I mean, I don't think I've had a Saturday off this year, probably. Even the day when I had a birthday party for like a Zoom thing, even that day I worked. I wasn't meant to be working the last Saturday, and I think Mike and I finished at about 5 o'clock at night. And that's not okay to keep doing yourself, is it? Because when you know, is it going to make you suddenly way more richer just because you pushed yourself to the limit every single day? It's not. Being in alignment, taking the time, being free and able to receive the downloads, that's what's going to make you rich. And I'm not just talking about rich in money, I'm talking rich in every way, because I will feel richer because my stepson's been messaging me saying, I miss you, I want to see you. How's he going to feel if he then gets here for the next 5 days and I've worked like mad every day? That's no good for him. He's then not going to to me in a positive way. So then I'm not going to feel rich about my relationship with him at the end of the day. So I'm going to feel guilty. He's probably going to play up because he feels neglected.
Well, rich isn't necessarily the number in the bank account, right? I mean, the whole reason that we work for ourselves and that we're crazy enough to just dive into this entrepreneurial space is a richness of the quality of life and lifestyle. And that means time freedom and flexibility as much as it does financial freedom. And that's why I do what I do is to enjoy this life. And, you know, the money will come. Just keep putting your best self forward.
And it is, if you feel about, you don't, you know, it's not just about feeling abundant in one area of your life.
For sure.
And if you feel abundant in, you know, in non-financial ways first, then the finance will follow. Because if you don't feel deserving of time off, the universe is going to say, why am I going to give you all of this money if all you're going to do is keep working?
Yeah, it's all
all
about alignment. Well, I have loved this conversation today with you. Thank you so much for your time. We could keep going for hours, I feel. Let's do this again.
Yeah, it feels like I'm
I know, same. Well, tell everybody, where can they work with you? Where can they find you? And yeah.
So we are Attic Estate and Attic Property Services. You can find us on Facebook, and it's ATTIK. There's no C in Attic. Yeah, remember that bit, no C, just ATTIK. And yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and our website. And yeah, happy to connect with anybody about anything to do with energy, healing, or general.
And you're amazing at that. I meant to say earlier, when I was going through this phase with all this masculine energy and I couldn't back off, you sent me Reiki, and it worked and it helped. And it's amazing how these things can work from far away. And I'm so that our paths have crossed and that we've become business friends across the pond. And I can't wait to meet you in real life when we get over there. Our family, Liz is like a sister to me, and she lives there, and we spend holidays and things. And so we'll be heading back over there as soon as we possibly can. But thank you so much for being here, Katie. And to our viewers, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next Wednesday, same time, same place, for Rose Alchemy TV. I'm Sarah Rose. If I can ever help you with anything, business strategy, mindset, starting or scaling your business in the online space, reach out to me anytime in DM. My inbox is always open. And Katie, thank you again so much. We'll keep in touch. Bye, guys.
Bye.